These came out really great.
Mm-hmm. And here's Karen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I wish I could slow the preview down. It's hauling butt, and I can't. I can't slow it down.
You guys are amazing. Where did you find all those pictures?
Amanda. All right, so we're gonna go slow with it. You got to see it.
Oh my God, don't make me cry.
This is wonderful.
Oh, I like that one picture when I was really young.
All right, so here's the cover.
Karen, there's so many beautiful pictures of you.
That was the first week, Debbie.
I know.
How skinny I was.
Hey, that picture's still there.
And it's Debbie Jones.
Oh, I can go back soon.
Wow, it's amazing. I like that one picture there too in the middle. My hair's kind of orange though.
I like the outfit you're wearing here.
I told you one time I wear suits every single day.
Good.
Now I wear exercise pants every single day. I have my nice jacket on, but my stretchy pants. Oh my gosh.
Who's that with Lori Parrish? And the orange shirts.
Isn't that Amanda?
No, we all thought it was Amanda. It's not her.
It's a Generations employee that volunteered for the day as well.
Okay.
Melinda.
Minzo.
Who's the guy? Is that Tony? Must be Tony Joseph.
Yeah, that's what Mike said the other day.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know, Karen. We're up a creek.
Yeah, no, I think, why would I get my picture taken with him? But okay.
Is that Tim Theberge?
Yep.
Is it?
Yep. You know, it's funny because I was thinking about them the other day. I don't even know who our federal rep is anymore. Because it was Trisha, somebody, and then Tim, and now I don't know who it is. Yep, that was in Albany, I think. I love the pictures in the picture booth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, you guys are amazing. The many faces of Karen Springmeyer. I was always talking. That is so cool. Oh my God. Good thing I'm not sitting there. I'd be crying. Oh, I like that. Oh, he wrote something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Do you want to read it now, or do you want to wait until the book comes?
I can't read it that well.
Okay. Well.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. That's amazing. I don't know where that picture was. Oh, that was when I was on the ARC board. What a wonderful honorarium for my mother. Thank you so much. That was such a great idea, whoever it was.
It was Ontario ARC's idea.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it their first one?
Oops. I don't know. We wanted to donate to Ontario ARC. So I sent them an email and that was suggested. So I thought that was a good idea.
It's beautiful.
It might be something new because somebody called me and apologized for the time that it took because it got stuck in their, junk mail, whatever. I don't know. So she goes, don't worry, we'll get an acknowledgement out right away.
Oh, I just got it the other day. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And she said I can see it on the website.
There's creepers.
Oh, so you've got people telling Karen stories. Oh my gosh. So you really took that Karen.
The hazards of retirement and being recognized.
Oh, it's just,
All right.
yeah, that's the picture where Lynn's tall and I'm short.
And then I feel like there's not that much difference. So I feel like there was something with angles in there, maybe. I
And
don't know.
I think you had heels on and I didn't. I
Oh,
love
I might have had boots on, yeah.
you guys. This is amazing. Oh, you got the flowers in there. What, did you all wear a different Finger Lakes shirt that day?
Yes, we did.
Yep.
It was planned.
Oh my God. Oh my God, how did you get that baby with the baby off of my Facebook?
Yep, Amanda stalked you for the picture.
That is just the best picture. It's just such a great picture.
I love this one. I think it's my favorite one in the entire book.
Yes, I love that one too.
He just looks so happy.
He is my happy place. Although after this week, for the next 2 weeks, I have to watch him like 5 days because she's working full time. So I'll be exhausted. Oh, you guys. Oh, and there's the picture when we were in Houston. See, I was 2 dogs and a stroller. Oh, you got our spin class on there. Oh my God. Oh, oh my God, and you got, geez, I think I was really active. Look at that, the 5K too. Oh my God. I am just so humbled by this whole thing. Thank you.
Impacted a lot of lives for a long time, Karen.
Thank you.
No, it's the truth.
Okay, see you later. You don't think about, I don't think about it, all those things, you just did them. So many people. I had fun.
Good morning.
Good morning, Lori.
Good morning, Lina.
Hi, everybody. Creative bunch, you guys.
Good.
Morning,
Rick.
Rick. So I'm crying already, so that's enough of that.
Good luck to you today.
I'm on a call, thanks.
All right, it is 8:28. I'm going to go ahead and flip over to the agenda. Can everyone see that well enough?
Yes, thanks.
All right, well, it looks like we've got most of the group. Jen, you want to do a roll call for us? We'll get things started.
Sure. Kathy Baker, Pete Beckes, Lina Brennan,
Here.
Zachary Brooks. I saw him come in. He might be muted. Mike Davis, Jennifer DeVault,
Yeah, here.
Bob Doblin, Sarah Amy,
Here.
Tom Facer, Michelle Youngerman,
Here.
Richard House,
Here.
Mike Kaufman, Danielle Malloy,
Here.
Here.
Michael Manikowski, John Muller, Julia Murphy,
I'm here.
Dr. Nye,
Here.
Lori Parrish,
Here.
Joe Pellerite, Bonnie Percy, Mr. Plimpton,
I'm here.
Dr. Ramos, Christy Rollo,
Here.
Mitch Rowe,
Here.
Mike Racinko,
Here.
Eileen Tiberio,
Here.
and Dr. Ramos just joined us. Karen Tyler, as well as Mike Davis, Jonah Wright. And this is our newest board member's first meeting, Sarah Bruzy from Del Lago Resort and Casino. Miss Bruzy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Sarah Bruzy. I'm the HR director at Del Lago. I've been here almost 3 years. Prior to Del Lago, I was at Clifton Springs Hospital and Rochester Regional Health for 16 years in finance and HR.
Great, thank you. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you.
Oh, for purposes of the minutes, for guests, I've seen Miss Springmeyer, John Celso, Andrea McGraw, Mike Wertley. Did I miss anyone? And staff members, we have Jordan Bates, Lynn Freed, Debbie Sowards, Mike Willison, and I'm Jennifer May.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Let's go ahead and get into the economic news and updates. So economic issues, trends, and concerns. Do we have anyone from healthcare want to give us an update on how things are going in that sector?
It's Jennifer. I'm happy to talk about Thompson.
Thank you. Please do.
So last Tuesday, we had a moment of silence to mark a year since the pandemic started here. I think it's been a very challenging year. Staff are very burnt out at this point. We're fortunate to have given 11,000 vaccines to our community right now. 80% of our staff are vaccinated, which is helping a lot with our attendance. Obviously, we're still having COVID patients. We've plateaued at kind of a moderately low level, which a year ago would have frightened us, but now we can very well manage. And with having staff vaccinated, that we're having less of them out quarantined or ill. So we're actually functioning quite well right now. Nearly all of our residents at the senior community and long-term care have been vaccinated, so that's helping to stop any massive outbreaks. The one thing that it is of concern is the University of Rochester and Rochester Regional have both recently put out in the news that they're going to $15 an hour minimum. And so for Thompson and several of the other community hospitals down in this region, we just need to figure out how we're going to be able to, and if we're going to be able to respond to something like that.
It is going to be an issue. This is Lina. From Finger Lakes Health, we're about the same as what Jennifer's experiencing at Thompson. The financial impact of all of this COVID has been unbelievable because we don't get reimbursed for all of these screenings that we have to do, and then all of the testings we have to do twice a week in the nursing homes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, it's been a tough year, but we're getting through. But the minimum wage going to 15 is huge.
How are you doing with regard to staff? Do you feel you're at full staff or are you seeking
We have
more?
more openings than we have ever had, and I've been here for 20 years. I've never had this many openings. Staff can still make more on unemployment or in other careers.
Same here. We've made a little bit of progress, but yeah, it's been a tough year, and I think unemployment hasn't helped.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, All right, well, thank you for sharing with us.
Fine.
Agriculture, anyone from the ag world?
Other than that, I'm fine. No, Pfizer.
I can just speak
Or something.
vineyard side.
Okay,
Yeah,
Oh, good.
kind of, we're starting pruning in the vineyard, and we really, things are going well. Vines look good, but we don't really want warmer temperatures right now because we're pruning and then we have to trim. So bud break happening and breaking buds as
Yeah,
we.
that's why she wanted to know on Friday. Too.
So if the weather could just stay. I know everybody wants
Excuse
warm weather,
Sarah, hold on a second. Hold on a second, everybody.
Yeah.
Could everybody who's not being asked to speak, please mute their phones? Thank you.
I'm gonna listen in.
So yeah, things are moving along in the vineyard. Things look good. In the winery side, I think April 19th, we can increase to a 75% capacity. And that's a decision from winery to winery, how they're gonna move forward in terms of handling more people in the winery. Personally, here at Anthony Road, we might not go to 75% capacity. We might keep it how we have it right now, the seated tastings that we have, reservations only, just because it's easier for us to handle and we like that style of moving forward. But it's a decision from winery to winery how they're gonna go about moving on after COVID. But I think people are anxious to get out and explore a little bit. So we're seeing a little bit of an uptick in visitors this time of year. So we're looking optimistically at the coming year.
okay, thank you. Tom, do you have an update? Tom Facer?
Yeah, certainly the field crops people are getting prepared for the season. I would say that in general, the soil conditions are a little dry for this time of year. We didn't have the snow. We were dry going into the winter. And, it's a little concerning. Obviously, a week of rain will change that, but fruit people don't need warm weather in April, March and April. So hopefully next week a little warm up was just a short-term thing and we can get back to cooler weather. Crop prices, grain crop prices are seeing big time inflation. Challenging crop conditions in South America. Demand for products is increased. So the basic commodity prices are up significantly from prior years, which is good. Which is good for those that grow that, and it's certainly not good for the dairy farmers that have to buy it. So it's typical agriculture.
All right, thanks for that update. In the manufacturing sector, I can tell you it's everyone I talk to is very busy. Most companies are looking to hire and shore up their workforce. Many companies had attrition in their workforce last year. The unemployment did go up in New York State to 1250. So many companies are still, they're coping with that now. And then this idea of going to $15 an hour nationwide, it does create some concern for many. So that's something that folks are talking about. Are there any other economic updates or trends or concerns anyone wants to share? How about Dr. Nye? What's going on in the education sector, or Vicky, if you want to share out on education?
Dr. Ramos, would you like to go first?
We just received for our career technical education, we surveyed students. So the class of 2020 was surveyed, and these are fresh off the press. We had 83% of the students respond both from both centers, the one in Williamson as well as the one in Flint. So this is close to 450 students. And 41% of those students are employed in the area that they graduated in the trade area that they graduated in. 6% of those that responded went on to the military. 41% of the ones responded are in a post-education program or community college, or went on to a four-year school. What's interesting to us, which aligns perfectly with what you are all saying right now, is last year, the class of 2019, 2 years ago, right, had 6% of the students were unemployed. And we're trying to find a job in the area that they had left. This year, we're up to 11%. And so it seems to me, and then so when we dig in deeper to the areas, it's areas that have been affected by COVID. I mean, the culinary arts area, I mean, that has never happened, but as we all know, restaurants haven't been operating, and places for students to practice their trade has not been operating. Animal science field that normally students can find something within the Finger Lakes region or Monroe County, again, impact of COVID. So we, cosmetology, impact of COVID. So we have seen a rise in this. We're hoping that now that things are starting to open, we will keep tabs on these students, but I just wanted to share with you that we are seeing that direct impact, as many of you have seen with us as well.
From FLCC side, for the spring semester, you know, as we're all going through the challenges of COVID, we're doing very well amongst our peers. We don't have final numbers yet. If you remember in the fall, I briefed that we were the number 3 in the state for community colleges for enrollment for the fall semester. As of last Friday, we were down less than 1% in terms of enrollment, and down 3% in terms of FTE, which is the money side, because we have more part-time students. The students have shifted, but we're still keeping students, which is really good. At this point, we've done a lot of work to try to help students and keep students, just as Dr. Ramos has and every single superintendent has, to help keep students engaged. We are going to have an outdoor ceremony. We're planning for it to allow folks to sort of get some sort of normalcy within the timeframes of what we, or at least the parameters or constraints we're allowed to have people there. But we're going to have an outdoor ceremony. In terms of some of the things workforce development related, I am very proud to say that for the 2020 awards for the Governor's Cup for wines, FLCC had 6 award winners, 2 silver and 4 bronze winners. And so these are our students doing things in the pandemic and creating award-winning wines for our area and getting a great education and a craft. So we're really proud of that. And I would like to say on Friday, speaking of another workforce development in a different area, speaking of mushrooms and the sugars associated with mushrooms, sacro something, I can't pronounce it. We have Empire Medicinals coming to campus. We've created a partnership with our faculty for our biotechnology program. Catherine Young from the Ag Center at Geneva and Jeff Adair from Leap Foods are going to attend, and we're looking to expand a partnership to be able to create bigger and better things in terms of the growing biotech field that's going to be linked to the agriculture and the food related food area here in the future. So really excited, looking forward to that on Friday. That's our news.
Very good. Thank you both for those updates. All right, any program changes? Anyone wants to report out? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. New business and consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
So move.
Sarah first, and Mr. Hauser second. All right, any discussion on the minutes? Any concerns, changes? None? Okay, let's have a vote then. Everyone in favor, say aye, raise your hand, wave. Okay, anyone opposed? No, thank you. Minutes are approved. And we do have one resolution. Mr. Willison, you want to give us an overview of what this resolution is about?
Yes, good morning, everybody. These are two training providers, RIT and OptiPro. We have individuals interested in attending those programs. And in order for us to assist with the tuition, they have to be approved by the board. And so both include, upon completion, a certificate that's recognized by their industry. So we have cybersecurity boot camp and master cam mill beginner.
Thank you.
Yep.
Can I get a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not sure. I saw Vicky's hand go up first, and then who was second? Michael Davis is second. All right. Any questions, concerns about this resolution? It's not my phone.
It's mine.
All right, let's take a vote. Everyone in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Anyone opposed? Thank you. And that resolution passes. So back to our agenda. Thank you. All right, committee updates, finance and audit. Mr. Doblin.
Mr. Doblin's not in attendance today, so Debbie Sowards is going to cover that, please.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So the committee next meets on March 31st, and we're going to start our PY21 budget process. The guidelines have gone out to the counties, and I'm meeting with the county fiscal people and managers later this morning. Overall, our PY21 allocations are up 7.5%. So good news for us. We've got a little bit more money. So then, and like I said, the counties and the managers and the contractors will all be getting ready to submit their budgets, and they will be reviewed at the finance and audit meeting in April for approval by the board in May.
Okay, thank you. Next is governance and membership. Mr. Manikowski here.
He is not, so I'm going to go ahead and cover that one. Good morning, everyone. Governance and membership met last week. Again, a very warm welcome to Sarah Bruzzi, our newest board member from Del Lago. She replaces Blair Morgan. Beyond that, there are 3 others that are in the works that we anticipate having ready for the May board meeting. That's going to be Bob Coyne from the RTMA, Rochester Technical and Manufacturing Association. That will cover the workforce category. We have Randy DeBruni from PEF, which is the Public Employees Federation. That will cover the union category. Erica Wright from Finger Lakes Extrusion will cover private sector from Ontario County, and we're in the works still for Seneca County for one more private enterprise. So we're working on that, but we'll have anticipating to have 3 new, actually 4 additional members by the May meeting. Draft slate of officers is also in progress, and we'll have outcomes for that at the next meeting. Bylaws revisions. Last time they were done was in 2015. The pandemic certainly gave us a reason to relook at the bylaws. Karen Springmeyer, as a consultant, attended that meeting with us and actually helped assist rewrite and update the bylaws. And that's going through its process and for final approval, and that'll also come about again at the May meeting. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Lynn. Next is marketing and communications. Lynn, you want to take that one as well?
Sure. Marketing and communications. We are this meeting, this group meets next week or the week after, I believe. We are looking for a chair for this group, and the last time it met, I believe, was in November or December. So we're looking to really get this one reinvigorated. It does need a chair, so we're looking for someone to fulfill that position.
Okay. Next is performance and evaluation. Lynn?
I can do that one.
All
That's
right.
all right,
Thanks.
Chair. The Performance Evaluation Committee met on February 23rd, where we reviewed our dashboard report. This looks at unemployment rates and our front door traffic. Unemployment continues to be high for this year. For December, it was up almost a full point from last December at about 5.4%. And our traffic is down. People are not coming into our centers as much as they were pre-COVID. So we're offering stuff online, workshops, and then also staff are working with people virtually via the phone, email, and Zoom. We also reviewed our on-the-job training report. On-the-job training outcomes for the program, or for the first 6 months of the program year, was a 75% success rate. 9 out of the 12 individuals completed their training and were working at the end of their program. The last thing we spoke about was the MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. This is administrative. Every 3 years, our partners have to come together and, using consensus, agree on what kind of services each partner is going to provide at our career center. So we're going through that process right now. And that is performance and evaluation.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Sure.
Economic development. Lynn, do you want to take that one?
Yep, that'll be me again for Mr. Manikowski.
Okay.
Economic Development Committee also met last week, and the topic was a benefits calculator. The benefits calculator idea came out of Yates County. Joe Davis at a career center meeting. And basically, a benefits calculator is a tool that's designed to take a look at for customers going through the career centers, to take a look at what it looks like. It's for them, it's to assist them take a look at how they're making their choices. Do they stay on unemployment, or when is the right time to move back into employment? So there's a lot of facts and figures to it. There was a very robust conversation at this committee as we realized that there's probably a lot of different ways that this tool could be used. So we're going to continue that conversation. It was agreed by the group that there would be a task committee formed, and we will look to meet further on later in the month as well. And so there'll be more to report out on that. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Lynn. Youth Committee, Lori?
Hi there. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Okay, excellent. We met last week, and unfortunately I had technical difficulties on my end, so I heard about every 3 words every 5 minutes. So I don't have any notes, not a lot of notes, but I do know that Leah from Optimax kindly shared the Optimax ebook with us on the website that they have, and it was really good, and I really would encourage anyone to check out Optimax's website for that. Perhaps Jen can share the link with the full board to look at that. It's a great tool, I think, to get the word out to youth and the internship opportunities that Optimax offers, and I think it serves as a good model for other companies to pursue in this, post-pandemic world and trying to get communication to people. There were some really great interviews on there from the interns themselves, and they did some walkthrough tours and really neat stuff. And she did that at the last minute, so I really appreciate that, Rick. You can let her know. One of the other things we discussed briefly was the Monroe County Skilled Trades event that's virtual this week. They had one session yesterday, and there's one on Thursday, I believe, and that's the one I'm participating in. So I'm going to take a look at that and see what their event looks like. Our meeting also had 2 high school student guests. The Suny County Chamber representative on our committee brought 2 high school students into our meeting to give us some feedback on what works and what doesn't work during virtual learning and what they like and what they don't like. One of the things that we talked about was social media, because I was interested in hearing which one is the most used of their generation. And as I suspected, TikTok is the answer. So we need the marketing committee, when we get going, to get some TikTok videos out there. I know Amanda's done a YouTube, which was great, but more of that, I think, from HR departments of companies, anybody who wants to communicate to youth that we can share, I think would be good. And then Jen did share some statistics, I believe, from our website activity, our social media responses, things like that. And we meet again in May. That's what I have.
All right, thank you, Lori, and thanks for your recommendation or kind words with regard to the Optimax culture book. Leah and our marketing team really did a great job with that, and it helps people understand how to build a career at Optimax, and it's really, really well done. All right, next is the FAME update. So we've got a few things going on. Dave Phillips has been chair of FAME for the last few years. He tried to retire from LISC last year, and that didn't work out so well. He's back at LISC. He's working full-time in a new role. And so he's asked to step down this year from the chair position at FAME. So we are actively seeking a new chair and someone to take the reins there. Other activities there, the application period for the FAME Student Scholarship at FLCC is open, and that will close at the end of April. It's the scholarship is $1,000 for a student that's pursuing a career, education and a career in advanced manufacturing. And so come end of April, we'll review all the applications and select a student that will receive the award in September for the next school year. Signing day for students at Finger Lakes Youth Apprentice Program was an event that happened about 10 days ago. And I was not able to attend this. The program's second annual event that pairs high school students with local manufacturing companies for instruction, job shadowing, and paid co-ops. I was told it was really robust. There's a lot of students that showed up, and really good activity at that event, which is great, because in these pandemic era, it's been difficult for students and companies to connect. In addition, the pipeline committee has been very active. They have decided to create 3 task forces. It's broken down into pipeline and hiring, training and upskilling, and then marketing and rebranding. So they've got a lot of different things going on, and they're trying to get their arms around it and get their priorities set. And then the last thing I want to update you on is Edge Factor. This is an organization that helps create awareness for students on the kind of careers that are available here in the community. We've been working with them for several years, and Wayne County has had an active membership with Edge Factor for the last 2 years. They now have 5 companies participating, about 20 career videos posted, and all the students in Wayne County can access this information for free. And there is a higher level of service through Edge Factor that is available to schools, and Wayne County has a fund to subsidize that. And right now they have 1 school on board, and they're looking to add more. So that's the FAME update. Now what's next? Director's report, Lynn.
Hello again. I've been busy getting acclimated to the new position. A lot of that time has been spent with, excuse me, it's legislative session. So it's been spent letting our district and regional legislators know about the work that's been done. This is coordinated. It's been heavily coordinated through NIATEP. And for folks that don't know, NIATEP is the New York Association of Training and Employment Providers. And this has been a very choreographed, strategic way for WIB directors to get the message to our legislators about workforce. It's been very robust, obviously, considering COVID, what we've been able to do, services that have still been able to be provided, a number of people serviced and success stories during the pandemic, as well as looking forward to the future. What does workforce moving into the future look like? So we've been able to get a lot of that messaging and information to our legislators to move forward to Albany and DC. And that's the director's report.
All right, thank you, Lynn. Next up is our presentation. Dr. Nye, would you do the honors of introducing our speaker? You're on mute.
Sorry about that. I was doing the right thing. I'm looking. Is he here yet? Chancellor Malatras, is he here?
I believe he just joined, Dr. Nye.
Okay, great. He just joined. Great. Well, I'm seeing Lauren McCabe, so I'm going to make the assumption that Chancellor is here. I'm scrolling through the folks at the top. Good morning, Dr. Rob Nye here, and it's my distinct pleasure to introduce Dr. Jim Malatras, the Chancellor of the State University of New York. He has extensive experience in government and particularly in education policy, and he has been the 5th president of Suny Empire State, where he did innovative work to provide education in more easily accessible means to the people of the state of New York and elsewise. And upon becoming the 14th Chancellor of the State University of New York, has been extensively involved in workforce development and apprenticeship activities and applied learning for our students in a number of initiatives. And I'm very proud to have Chancellor Malatras here to talk to you about the initiatives that he is leading for the state of New York. Chancellor, take it away.
Hi, he's joining just right now. He'll be on momentarily.
Okay, Rob, you want to do that all again?
I sure will. I can start
No,
again
I'm
very
just
briefly. Chancellor Malatras, I just did a wonderful introduction of you, so I'll do another short one. We're very proud to have you here to speak to us today. And I explained that you have extensive governmental experience, and especially in education policy, and that you did wonderful work as the 5th president of Suny Empire State, where you did a lot of groundbreaking work to provide educational access to state of New York folks and also elsewhere. And then upon becoming the chancellor, the 14th chancellor of the state of University of New York. Sorry, I'm talking fast. I didn't talk this fast the first time I introduced you. But you have done groundbreaking work in bringing workforce development, apprenticeships, and applied learning to the state of New York through SUNY in groundbreaking ways over such a short period of time. And we're proud to have you here today to talk about your efforts.
Thank you, President Nine. Thank you, everyone, for allowing me to impose myself on your meeting. I'll be very brief on my comments, and I'd love to have a discussion. I think President Nye is right. We're sort of at a critical moment in society, and especially in higher education, where we have to meet the needs of so many challenges. A number that should give us optimism in higher education, but also is a little overwhelming, is nearly 70% of all new jobs created in the country need some sort of post-secondary credentialing. Yet you have folks who just don't believe in the notion of higher education any longer. So we have a lot to overcome, but I think SUNY is positioned really well. And it's the efforts like President Nye working with you all to make that happen. And I'm optimistic about how do we approach education in the future. And SUNY is a big part of the economic output of New York State. I think we have nearly a $29 billion economic impact in the state of New York. That's through research, that's through direct jobs and indirect jobs. I think for every $1 spent in state assets, we put out about $8 worth of impact. So this is real stuff. And we're basically producing about nearly more than 1/3 of all graduates in the workforce right now from SUNY. So I think the opportunities are real. I think our challenges, and this is why working with folks like you all are so important, is I think what we have to also do is break down a lot of the barriers that folks face. In some levels, education is still foreign to many people. I think people have the notion of higher education as someone who graduates high school and then goes to college. And after they go to college, they graduate college and they enter the workforce. But in many ways, it's dramatically changed. Our student body population is actually getting older. The 25 to 44 age group is actually one of our biggest growing areas of students right now. It's students who are in mid-career. It's students who want to transition because of our economic changes in our society, right? We were a manufacturing-based economy. We're now more information-based economy. And that has really had an impact on our economic output, and then what people need to be job retrained. And then part of what we're trying to do is demystify education in many ways, where people feel like it's not for them. They don't really have an opportunity. So what can we do to break down those barriers? And you're seeing us sort of move heaven and earth in this. We launched in December a new online workforce training center. It's 100% free for individuals who are mid-career or been recently unemployed or underemployed. Our community college system is probably one of the most robust in the entire nation. They are serving critical areas of need, and we're trying to work day and night to how we connect to employers. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there for us. And I think working together with labor, with businesses in the communities is everything for us right now, because we really do want to meet those gaps. I mean, there are skills gaps that we're still facing, even with the economic downturn. Even with the higher unemployment right now, we still have a lot of unfilled jobs in the state of New York, largely because we're not producing those folks with the right skills to meet those job demands. So we're all in. And it's colleges and institutions like Finger Lakes Community Colleges and other places where we can not just provide workforce training, but a well-rounded citizen too, which separates us from like a just general workforce training program. I think the need is there. Our quality is the highest, one of the highest in the nation. Our cost is one of the lowest in the nation. So however we can work together to make these things happen, we're all in, and we're trying everything. We're getting rid of application fees. We're doing everything we can. And however we can work with you, we stand ready and willing. So I'd be happy to have a discussion, talk these things through. I mean, things that you think you need from us and how we can help facilitate what you need in your region. We're all in, we're game. So thank you for having me today.
So you open to questions?
Sure. I like that more than me droning on and on for hours on end.
All right. So I'll kick things off. So here in the last year, we've seen how virtual learning can change the landscape and how students receive information. So how do you see that altering the Suny programs?
So it's interesting. We're planning in the fall to be back, not to normal, but be back into in-person instruction almost as fully as we were before the pandemic. What I think we've learned is it can't be a substitute for in-person instruction, but it can be a good complement to in-person instruction because it provides flexibility and opportunities for students. Now, I come from a different place. I was the president of Empire State College before I became chancellor. And Empire State College is one of those colleges it was like college without borders concept, right? We go into communities, we build programs around people's busy time. We're focused on adult learners and avenues like that. And I think what the online space has showed us is that it presents new opportunities for folks who don't have a chance to go to a traditional necessarily program and build around their time. That's why I thought the online workforce training center that we just stood up, that's free, and it provides about 20 certifications for free in really high demand areas like healthcare and advanced manufacturing, to me is a down payment. People say, why are you giving something away for free? Because I think if you get people interested, they will continue on in education and will present opportunities. But people with children, people with jobs, you need to build around them. And I think we have to break out of our mold where people have to come to us, and we have to go into communities and build things around folks. So I think high quality online programming can be a good supplement to what we're doing in person. I think nothing replaces the in-person instruction and the energy. And by the way, I taught last semester for the first time in the history of my teaching in my career online. And it's, you have to get acclimated to it. It's a different environment. There were some real positive things to that. Like students, for instance, couldn't fall asleep in my class because your cameras are on and you can actually see the person staring at you. And if they're sleeping, you would know. But I don't think it can replace it, but I do think it can supplement it. And I do think it opens up access to people, not just urban communities. People think about socioeconomic demographics or communities of color, but I think in rural communities as well, where you may not be able to travel back and forth as regularly with a job to one of our campuses. It does provide more opportunity, and it opens up other opportunity to take classes within the SUNY system, which I also like, because you may have a great program at Finger Lakes, but you want to take, but you also may have a class that you may want to audit at the University of Buffalo too. So I think that allows us to get people more interested to coming into our programs as well.
Thank you. Any questions from others?
Good morning, Dr. Militros. Thanks so much for joining us. This is Lynn Freed. I'm with the Finger Lakes Workforce Investment Board. I was wondering if you could share a little bit. SUNY has made a significant investment in the apprenticeship effort going forward, and there's a lot of movement in that direction. I was wondering if you could just share, that journey and what's going on in the world of SUNY partnership with the New York State apprenticeship programs.
I think I was just at Mohawk Valley Community College yesterday, and this is one of those big areas. I think apprenticeships are critical. I think as much as we can connect individuals to those high demand areas is really important for us. And we'll continue to work with the Department of Labor and you all, because I think that is an area of great demand and great need. So however we can facilitate that, we will. I mean, I think that's a growing area that I'm excited about, frankly. What I'm trying to do on the apprenticeship side, especially for some of our students, is take away some of the barriers that often prohibit students from going into the program and the apprenticeship program to begin with. Food insecurity, by the way, has been one major area. Housing insecurity, like all the daily life struggles where people are they're finding their way, not finding their way to an apprenticeship program, to a higher education program. We're trying to help with. So we're trying to take some of those burdens off of our students to make it easier to enter into those partnerships. But no, we're really excited about the apprenticeship partnerships because, in some level, people have the wrong view of what an apprenticeship program is in this day and age. Mechatronics, all these different areas are really like high skilled, high impact, high wage areas that I think have a lot of opportunity for us in many regions. And we just can't fill the demand right now on some level. So we need to do a better job of connecting individuals into these programs for sure. Tools, by the way, that's another area. Tools has been an area that we've been trying to work on getting some external funding and things like that to help students with those costs, because tools often in an apprenticeship program are cost prohibitive. And that's an area that is a concern to us, and I know concern to the president as well. And then some very specific areas. President Nye is one of our co-chairs of our Military and Veterans Council that we just put together, who would come up with recommendations on how to help veterans and military access higher education more robustly. Fees, for instance, are another one of those areas which become a prohibition into entering apprenticeship programs in higher education. So they're working on those types of areas as well. So however we can break down barriers to make it easier for folks to sign up and be part of this, we'll continue to make those partnerships with the state, with you all, because I think that's a real growing area. And again, it's one of those things I try to demystify to apprenticeship programs. People, there is this interesting concept, people look at the education sometimes as the ivory tower, right? Like you don't learn skills. I don't quite get, there's not a zero-sum game in this, right? You can learn liberal arts, you can learn a trade, you can become an apprentice and be well-rounded, which separates us from many training programs. And I always tell people when they say to me, well, why are you so focused on apprenticeships? Why are you so focused on those areas? Because I said, when your car breaks down, fix it. You can't, because they're so highly complex right now. You need folks who have that skilled training to be able to do that. Or your heating system in your home right now. If you can understand that, great. But you need people who are really skilled in these areas in order for society to actually work and meet a lot of the job demands that we have. Well, I think I've bored you all enough, it seems like. So
Chancellor Malatras, could you explain the efforts we're doing to link the centers you've talked about to actually getting folks into educational programs? It's not just the fees, but it's also allowing them the free access to get into colleges. Because you said something was really important. You can be a great technician, but and you mentioned HVAC as one of them. But then how are you going to become a great business person along with being that great HVAC person after you get the skill sets you need to be able to get those educations? And how Suny is taking care of connecting skills with education for more rounded individuals over time.
That really is the issue. And that's really what separates us from so many, there's lots of training programs out there right now. You can go to companies and they'll train you. But I think the president has it exactly right. You can learn a skill like HVAC. But part of what we're doing, even with this free online workforce training center, which what we try to do is we're trying to get people interested in connecting to higher education, connecting to training, and then giving them opportunities beyond even a free training program, like a high demand certification area where you automatically get admitted into one of our community colleges and we knock away all the application fees and things like that. Just make it as easy as possible for folks. But part of a lot of what we're doing is, like the president says, learn the trade, learn the skill, but also learn the business around it too. Because in many of these areas, there's a certain point where you don't want to continue on the actual laboring work, but you want to then transition maybe into the business orient. We teach both of those things, right? How do you install HVAC, very complex systems, but then how do you also run a small business or a medium-sized business or a large business if it grows after you're done? You know what you know, right? My father-in-law is a carpenter, and he's been a carpenter for many years, learned many skills. He had to transition into the business element as he got older, right? He couldn't be up on roofs anymore, and he couldn't be doing those things. So like those types of skills too. And what we're learning in higher education is it's not just the types of skills you're learning, it's the point of time of which you learn these skills as well. I think we're also trying to break the mold right now, as higher education is a static point in time. You graduate high school, you enter an educational program, you graduate, and then that's it. It really has become a lifelong learning opportunity because everyone has to constantly upskill. I mean, our society and our workforce is getting more demanding, and the skills needed to meet those demands are more demanding, even for folks like me or the president or others on the phone, right? I've had to learn new skills, which I still actively participate in here. So I think giving people entry opportunities throughout the course of their lives, through the course of their careers, are just as important, where they feel welcomed and included in that too. I think some of that comes to language as well. I always drives me crazy. We call them traditional students, and then we call them some other category non-traditional students. So if you're a person who used to work in the GM manufacturing plant, plant closes, you're getting reskilled in one of our community colleges, you're older adult, we call you a non-traditional student. It kind of drives me crazy because it makes them feel like outsiders and feel like they're not actually as included in the process as possible. So we just call them students. You're a student at any point in time in your life. It doesn't matter when you come in. So I think that constant upskilling, that constant lifelong learning thing, we have to build better into our system of higher education. We're not there yet, but I think we're adapting that concept to where this isn't a static point in time. This is a piece where you have to give lots of opportunities at all time, which then builds into your point, Rick, I think, which was how does online fit into that, where you can provide opportunities? How does flexible scheduling work? Things like providing college credit for career. That's something called prior learning assessment, or which is a really important concept in higher education right now, which is just because you didn't take basic 101 math in college 20 years ago doesn't mean you don't know math any less if you were doing mechatronics or other engineering type activities in a job for a long time. That could substitute for that 101 math class. So why not give college credit for those skills? So you're reducing the time that a person has to be in college, and you're reducing the cost, because in the end, the demand is so there that we have to do a lot of these different things now and really adapt to the changing place in order to meet those things. So.
I just have a question quickly about how you're reaching out to people in our region who may be displaced workers as a result of COVID or other changes in their workforce environment. A lot of companies being bought up by bigger companies during that period. People that have been in positions at jobs for 20 years and their skill set was okay for their previous job, but in any future opportunity they might have, they might need to upgrade their skills. How are you reaching out to people in our area for that?
So we created something, thank you for that question, Lori. We created something called, it's a new campaign called Suny for All. And it's a little, of course, it sounds too big and too amorphous, but the real concept is what I've been talking about. Every individual at any point in their life, at any point in time, no matter their economic or their life circumstance, has a space at Suny. We are the largest comprehensive system in the entire country. We have a robust system of community colleges. We have universities, research centers. We have medical schools. We have law schools. We have traditional comprehensive colleges. We have online programs. And we've actually reached out to folks to say, here's a lot of different pathways for you. If you don't feel like you can do something, but you want to try a new certification area, we're actually reaching out to communities right now. We're going to them as opposed to them coming to us, which is, I think, the orientation shift that we've tried to bring to bear, at least since I've been chancellor. And I think our presidents and our leadership are fully supportive of this, because many of our, especially our community colleges on the ground, are doing this on a daily basis. How do we reach out to you as an individual? How do we put many different programs under one roof? I like this concept of co-locating different programs. Buffalo, for instance, has the Northland Workforce Training Center. And what I like about that is it's Erie County Community College, it's Buffalo State, it's Empire State College, all under one roof. So you may want to go, or an Alfred State College, so you may want to go through a technical program. We're giving you that opportunity. You may want to go through a bachelor's program for an MBA. You have that opportunity. And then we provide coaching and support services for those individuals who have been displaced, but they're not coming to us on our college campuses. We're actually going into the community. We're actually building something. We're working right now with different partners in Syracuse. And I like to bring that more global across the different regions, so people just have opportunities. So like if you're in the Finger Lakes region, you can have Finger Lakes Community College, you can have Empire State College, you could have some of our other four-year comprehensives, all under one roof to help, either there, or you can go to one of our colleges. So we're doing active outreach and messaging to individuals that it's not just the 18-year-old out of high school. It could be a number of different folks and a number of different opportunities, and we have a lot of flexibility there. The issue is there's a real demand for it. It's just if you capture those folks. One of the numbers, this statistics that's kind of scares me a little bit is 50,000 New Yorkers right now attend an online program out of state. I think we should get all 50,000 of those individuals in New York back. I think SUNY education is more affordable. I think it's higher quality, and they're going to higher cost. I think, my humble opinion, lower quality programs out of state. So I think it's incumbent upon us to do very active outreach to folks, which we have begun in a meaningful and major way.
Thank you.
Kind of along those same lines, I'm just wondering if you have any thoughts on how we can, I think we talk about this at the workforce level, of how we can, connect with those high school students that are coming out of high school, how we can connect with them to talk about what opportunities for employment are there, but then also for colleges, like how, do you have thoughts on how we can reach those kids and how we can help them, do career exploration and there's, I work with people with disabilities. There's lots of things that we do with them for career exploration, but then your quote unquote typical child may not have all of those opportunities. So I just don't know from the education end of things, if you have thoughts that we could do, to help reach those kids and help them either get into employment or, get into college.
It's really interesting. I am a product of SUNY. I went to a SUNY. I'm the first graduate of SUNY ever to be chancellor, which is bizarre in some level to me. But I am that person who just wanted an opportunity, and SUNY afforded the way. I, in some level, didn't even know what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a musician. So I went to SUNY Potsdam and I realized I wasn't going to be a very good musician. So I became a political scientist, and I still don't know if I'm a very good political scientist, but we're still trying it out. I do think we have to do a better job of giving people pathways through degree programs. For instance, people say to me, well, why do I ever want to be an English major? Well, actually, there's real utility in being an English undergraduate major, because it teaches you critical learning skills, writing, and things like that, which is what law schools look for. Law schools don't want pre-law. They want people who understand the English language, understand critical reasoning, understand critical thinking. That is an English major degree program. But if I'm a 17-year-old kid in a high school in Rochester, I don't necessarily connect that to I want to be a lawyer one day. One of the things that we started when I was at Empire State College, which I'd like to bring to bear more globally across the system, and this would be working with you all, frankly, is we worked with the Labor Department to create something called we call it the Empire Job Connector. And we started with a pilot in the capital region where you would come in and we had like a computer which is hooked up to the Department of Labor. Here are jobs available to me in the capital region. I want to stay in the capital region. Here are these jobs available, right? So you're not getting something to, and I want to stay here, not something that you get a degree or get training in, and then you can't ever find a job, right? I think that also turns people off, right? Where you're not giving them options. Maybe they want to move out of region. Maybe they want to fulfill their dreams of whatever. But many people I want to get this degree credential to get me into a good job, a well-paying job, to have a good career. So you then look at the list, and what we're doing now is you look at the list and say, okay, I want to be an engineer. Here are the programs available to you in your region: Empire State College, RPI, University at Albany, whatever it is, or you have to go to Binghamton, whatever it is. And then we'll help you with career coaches to get into those programs, help you with the transcripts, help you with that pathway. And then after you're done, so this is where we're not finished yet, but this is the end point of this. When you're done with your thing, you're done with your college career, you're done with your credentialing, we'll help you with the resume writing, and then we'll connect you back to the Department of Labor to try to help you actually attain one of the jobs that were listed as a growth demand area in your region. I think you almost need to provide that level of seamlessness to folks, because that allows you to see, because many students just don't understand, what does a chemistry degree get me? Or if I take mathematics, or what are those pathways for me? It's really difficult for people to deal with that. Or you can say, I don't know yet. General studies makes more sense. You do this for 2 years, and then you can figure out by building enough credits, right? It's so foreign to people. Even we within the system don't quite understand all the time the pathways. We have to help students with that, because then they can become, they get turned off by it, right? We take a lot of college credits, we don't attain our degree, or we don't feel empowered. Like, that does ultimately turn people off. So the more you can create seamlessness among K through 12 into college, then college and beyond, I think is really important, because an average student like myself, I'm just thinking of myself and other students who are like me, came from a working class family. I thought public education and Suny were the same thing, right? One public education system to another public education, but it's really not. There's a lot of daylight between us that we're trying. Part of what we have to do is close those gaps and give options for people that make sense. So like something like that, I think would really have a lot of import. And if you do that in every region, by the way, you have employees that are probably coming to you guys all day long saying, we need this apprenticeship program, we need this to get filled. Automotive, by the way, is one of those areas. I just was in Central New York. They can't meet the demand right now. We just cannot meet the workforce demand right now. But we're not, what that was telling me was, we're not doing a good job of reaching into high schools and reaching into labor centers where people are unemployed and other things. Say, here's an opportunity for you. And this is how easy it is to get enrolled. And this is how easy it is we can walk you through the process. And we'll give you a career coach, and we'll give you, we'll take all of the barriers off the table where application fees seem to be too much, or how do you process getting your transcripts from your high school from 20 years ago? I mean, like, there's all these things that turn people off. However we can ease and smooth out that process, we'll continue to do.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Hey, Jim, I'm going to ask a question here, and I don't mean to be insulting, but through the Finger Lakes Workforce Investment Board, we have different programs available for people that are, out of work or looking for employment, and they can upskill. But it's it's not nearly as broad a selection as what's available through the Suny system. Shouldn't someone who's on unemployment be able to go to Suny for free and enhance their skills so they can get back into the workforce? Because, if you're on unemployment, that's a huge barrier to enhancing your skills.
Rick, this is this really interesting thing. I do think New York State has done a great job on providing financial assistance to folks who are in the lower income bracket. The tuition assistance program is probably one of the most robust programs that we have in the nation. I think Excelsior Scholarship is focused and targeted for a different type of student, that traditional student at a high school. I do think you're raising this larger issue that we have to focus on better, is how do you take the current potential student body and then build incentives around those individuals. I think it is different now, right? Even like the tuition assistance program is a finite amount of time. You have 12 credits over a certain amount of time. And then if you don't fit that sort of box, you don't get access to those skills. You don't get access to that financial assistance. I think we almost have to reorient the financial assistance to meet what the modern student is like. So I am a single parent who has been laid off. I am not graduating a community college in 2 years because I don't want to. It's because I have other responsibilities. It's going to take me 5 years, and I'm okay with that because I know ultimately I have a glide path to a better job. But we don't actually build our incentives around that type of person. I almost think we have to like refocus in a major way what the incentives that we spend. In higher education, I think the state spends something like $7 billion every year. I mean, it's like a significant amount of money. But how we're targeting it may be a little off now, and that's what we have to focus on. And there's programs like the Educational Opportunity Program, for instance. It's a great program, higher retention rates, more access, career coaches, but that's first generation, first time college student full time. Well, why don't we do a mid-career educational opportunity program? I think where it does make it basically free and then pays for other costs as well. I think we have to have that conversation, because if we don't, I think you're right. People just won't end up going to college because it's just too much. And in this current environment, it's hard to convey to people how tough it is for individuals right now. The sad fact of the matter is we have to have food pantries on every one of our college campuses right now. Just think about that, like basic needs. And I was trying to convey to folks who, when we've been advocating for the budget recently, and the legislature actually put a lot of incentives and financial assistance for us on the table, which I think is great. But $10 sometimes can flip entirely whether a person can go to college at that moment or not. They're dealing with children right now. They're children who are I was just at Mohawk Valley Community College, so this is like fresh in my mind. One of the person who runs the food pantry there was a student who had to cut back to one class a semester, not because she couldn't finish college or wasn't capable. She has her children who now are currently remote, so they're all at home. So she's trying to manage that process. She's trying to manage her part-time job, which is becoming more difficult because she doesn't have daycare options for her children. Her school's not open. And a flip of $10 means whether she can actually pay for her tuition bill or pay for her fees or her books or eat or provide basic assistance for her children. That shouldn't be an option, right? Like it shouldn't be that either or. So I think we have to do a better job for people who are willing to step up and take that chance and willing to go into a program to offset all those costs for them, because in the end, the return on investment for the state of New York is much higher, right? The more degree opportunities you give people to make workforce demand, we all win in the end. So I think we're trying to reorient policymakers to maybe we have to look at the incentive structure that we have in a much different way than we used to, because people are really stuck in I'm an 18-year-old high school graduate and that's what a college student is. And that really is in many ways our core students, but it's growing in other areas too. I was at Empire State College. The oldest student we had at Empire State College, by the way, was 90 years old. So like, it's just a different world now. And I think we have to then change with how education has changed. And it's not a bad thing, but there's nothing biblical about how higher education is set up, right? It's not as if it's written in the Bible, like it only has to be this way. I think we do have to adapt to the modern student for sure.
Thanks. There's certainly a lot of people that have chosen to stay home to help take care of their family during this pandemic period, and anything we can do to help them as we come out of the pandemic to help them get back into the workforce would be good.
Yeah, I agree. That's probably one of our singular most important challenges coming out of the pandemic for sure. I mean, I don't think we fully understand where certain students, how much they've fallen behind because of the pandemic. I think the academic access that folks have had has been really uneven. And I think you've seen a lot of socioeconomic disparities on the health side. And I think you're seeing it on the educational side as well. And what impact that does have on the broader society, I don't know. But what I would fashion to say is if we don't take corrective action, it will just widen the inequities that we see in society right now, for sure. And that's a shame. And that's why I think we have to be more innovative at this moment in time and do everything we can to get people enrolled in these programs. Because it's funny, there's I don't know if you guys all follow, there's Raj Chetty is an economist. He used to be at Stanford. He's now at Harvard. He has the Opportunity report every year that shows what institutions have the best opportunity of economic and social mobility. 13 of our Suny schools, so Suny is one of the systems that does quite well. If you get a degree from us, you actually have the greatest chance of socioeconomic growth beyond a degree. And he looks at like employment data, and he looks at tax data on income and things like that. But if people aren't actually entering into this system, right, and because they don't have the opportunity, it's just going to widen that divide and continue to widen that divide. When you have needs in the Finger Lakes now, I'm sure you're not filling jobs right now. I mean, that's the sad fact. Like we are not meeting the challenge right now.
Yeah, and I'd like to throw in too that I think the mental health impact on people from school age to people who are, 10 years close to retirement has been huge during this pandemic. And I don't think that we fully understand the impact of all that as well.
That was the number one issue. I became chancellor in August. I like to talk to student groups because it actually is the closest line to what people are living through. Students are really struggling on that front. They've raised this time and time again. If you think about even like how they're living, students who are living on campus have to live by themselves in a dormitory with a lot of online learning right now. That's a really isolating experience. Likewise, we have a lot of students living at home, taking online, and that's an isolating experience. We actually expanded one of the areas that we did do, we found investment to do, and we just got some of our money restored. It was reduced in the initial budget, but it got restored, thankfully, is we built out a robust system of telehealth through our medical schools, upstate medical and downstate, to provide psychiatry services. But also some of our students didn't want that type of service. They wanted peer-to-peer service sometimes. So we gave them that option. Middle Earth is run by the University of Albany. We actually allowed any student in the system now to access that. And sometimes they didn't want to have the stigma of being on campus and getting services because they were concerned about people finding out that they were accessing mental health services and wellness services. So we have a program, an app that you can have on your phone where they have a referral service off campus to a private provider where their insurance or the school will cover it. So we've offered that up, but that's going to be something that's ongoing for a lot of folks. I think not just students, but our faculty and staff and others too, because that has been a really trying thing for folks. I mean, this has been a really isolating time for people. And even coming out of this, Lori, right? Like, I don't know about, I mean, I have a young daughter, she's 3, and I have a son who's 8. They look at photos now, and if you see people sitting close to each other like we used to do, they like freak out about it, right? Like, wait, they're violating the social distancing rule. So I think even beyond COVID, there's gonna be a lot of challenges just reorienting people to like normal mores within society of being close to one another and connecting in a different way. I think that's going to be an ongoing challenge for folks for sure.
Sure is. Thank you.
All right, there's no other questions. I want to thank Jim for his for joining us today and sharing openly with us. That was very informative. Appreciate your thoughts.
Thank you. And thank you to President Nye for having me on, and thank you all for having me on. We'd love to work together with you all. I think the challenge is significant, but what I'm optimistic about here is that we have all the tools in place. We all just have to bring them together. So however the Suny system and I can help, or our presidents can help, or our leadership can help, we stand ready and willing, and we would love to work with you, because I think in the end, this is a major need, but also a major opportunity for many individuals in New York. So we're really happy to be part of anything you want to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, coming back to our agenda, let's take a deep breath. Any other business announcements? Anything anyone would like to share with the group?
Hey, Rick, I'm going to throw some out. I didn't say it, but I wanted to throw it out. Maybe, and Lynn, maybe there's a way this fall when we open up to take that Suny for all and have it be connected to like something like the Work First with Your Hands event and so forth, or one of the 3 different activities that creates some sort of connection, especially when students get out of school. Just food for thought for you.
Excellent. Love it. There's some groundwork there, but I think there's absolutely opportunity to build on that, Dr. Nye.
I just shot an email to Mike Willison too to ask if we're promoting the Suny for All thing to one-stop centers. Right before Rick asked the question. We're all on the same page here. I like it.
Yeah. For the past couple of years, Dr. Nye and I have been working on trying to put a synchronous learning room at Optimax where our employees don't have to drive to campus, but they can take courses right at our facility. And Rob, I think we might need to rethink that. With this year, we've learned that through Zoom or some other format, there's other ways to do virtual learning. So I still like the synchronous learning room because it's interactive, but maybe we have some new options now that we hadn't considered a couple of years ago.
Have I got a deal for you? We'll talk later, but no, we actually do. I didn't bring it up, but we're investing in what's called high flex. So we're moving on from synchronous learning to high flex. And what high flex learning does is allow you to either to take a course in one of 3 methodologies that's most convenient for you: solely online, or synchronous, or recorded. So like Rick, your folks get off shift and they want to go watch the recording. They can, just like they're in the classroom, it can be like they're in the classroom, and we're investing in that right now. So we'll be talking afterwards. And if anybody's interested in putting something like that in other facilities, we're very interested in doing that.
And that's available to the healthcare industry as well?
Absolutely.
Very good.
Agriculture, healthcare, you name it, manufacturing, tourism, wineries.
All right. Any other business or announcements anybody wants to share? Anybody have any activities coming up where they're getting folks together? Job fairs, that type of thing?
I'll just throw in the New York State Department of Labor is hosting a virtual job fair for the 9-county region on April 15th. If you want more information, get a hold of me. I can send you out the registration information. As of yesterday, we had 50 employers signed up.
Very good.
Actually, can we add that to the notes so that when the notes go out to everyone, because we've got some time before April 15th. That way it's referenced there. Thank you.
So employers can still sign up for that?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, I want to remind everyone, we do have a link here in our agenda for the meeting evaluation form. Feel free to take a couple minutes out of your day today to fill that out and give us a little feedback on what you thought of today's meeting.
Can I put a shameless plug? Can I put a shameless plug in for this survey? You know, we read everything. We read all of the remarks. Presentations like today, you know, we're listening to you, and when you ask for what about this, what about that, we're trying to bring, you know, the most relevant, you know, best information forward. So please do fill out the survey. It's important. We read it all. We're looking for, you know, your thoughts. You know, was it helpful? Was it not? It really is important in helping us make decisions to bring in the most meaningful and, you know, relevant, you know, presentations to all of you. So thank you. Thanks, Rick. I just wanted to add that in there.
Yeah, thanks, Lynn. All right. With that, we're going to move on to a farewell message for Mrs. Springmeyer. And Karen, it's the last meeting we had, we recorded, I'm sure you have had a chance to watch it, and several people shared out stories of their experiences with you through the years, and you will be missed, but the floor is yours.
Thanks, Rick. First of all, I want to say congratulations to having Chancellor Malatros there. That was wonderful. Thank you, Rob, for following up with that. And Lynn, I would think that it's probably the first time that he's addressed a workforce board. So congratulations on that. I think you've made a great connection there. And it's really good to sit on this side of the table and see what a wonderful group you are. I always knew that, but keeping my mouth shut the whole time today, I feel a great pride in what we've done in the Finger Lakes from July 1st of 2000, when we established the Workforce Investment Board, to January 1st, 2003, when we opened our doors on Lewis Street as a not-for-profit corporation, to today. It's absolutely wonderful what you are all doing. I can tell you in retirement, I don't know what day it is, but I did get dressed up a little bit today for St. Patrick's Day because I thought I was going to be in the office. But I just want to thank you all for your commitment and dedication to this great area, to all you bring to it. Every single board member brings something to the table. Every single staff person has a strength that they bring together as a team. And I'm just honored to have worked with all of you. And I'm keeping the same phone number. And Jen has my home email. I'd love to hear from any of you, or if you want to get together, I'm available. I've enjoyed the consulting that I've done with the board over the last couple months. It keeps me connected. I'm staying as past president of the New York State Association of Training and Employment Professionals until they get a new president, because you can't really fill a past president position. So I'm staying connected that way. So thank you. And thank you for all the wonderful gifts. I did drive down to Anthony Road and pick up my wine, Sarah. Thank you. The jewelry, the food certificates, the flowers. I just can't thank you enough. I'm just very humbled and honored to have been a part of this organization. Is that enough, Rick?
You did it without even breaking down into tears.
Well, I got
holding
one
it together. It's wonderful, Karen. And there was I don't know what we call it, a flip book that was put together with memories from folks that contributed. Maybe at the end of the meeting, Jen, you can just put that back up and let that run for anybody who wants to stick around and watch that flip through. Thanks, Karen.
Thank you.
Next meeting will be Wednesday, May 19th, 2021. And looks like we'll be doing a Zoom meeting again. Just curious, how many people have had their shots? Yeah, probably half the board. I sit on some boards.
Anyone hasn't had it yet.
I
Not
haven't
my
had-
first one.
Yeah.
Knocked out one of my businesses, the second one, because everyone was symptomatic. But then it was only a day and everyone was good. So
Yeah. I sit on some boards where I'm one of the younger members, and pretty much everybody else has had their shot. So they're going to start meeting in person again. Maybe by summer, we'll be able to get back together.
Looking forward to it.
That would be nice.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, thank you for all your attention today. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
I'll make a motion.
And second, Lori, thank you. Have a great day, folks. And
Thank you too.
Jen, you want to put that back up, the flip book?
Hi, thank you.
Thank you.
Now I'll start crying.
Karen's first day here at the Lewis Street office.
I was so young.
Look how young Mike looks there.
Was that the first year of that event, Karen? 2007?
I don't think so. I think it was 2005, 4, Debbie. Because it would have been 15 years this past October, so.
I think
Okay.
this was like about the second or third one
Yeah,
when we did that.
it's certainly grown into a wonderful event. Gotta get
Who
back
is
to it.
this? Karen,
Pardon me?
who is this right here? Can you see my mouse? The lower left, lower right hand? All
Oh,
hands
I
on both
think
sides.
it's Senator Nizol, Brian Colbright, Mike. Yep.
No.
There's our big check. I love the masks. Oh. You guys did a fantastic job.
That was Amanda. Amanda's been working on this so hard. Done a great job.
That was my first 5K. I ran across the finish line. I walked most of it.
All right, and that is the last page of the book, and you will be it will be delivered to your house soon.
Thank you so much. You guys did a great job. I'll miss you all, and best of luck in all the work that you do.
Thanks, Karen. You take care. Bye, everybody. Have a good day.
Good
You
day,
too.
everyone.